Growing up in a small town nestled among the rolling hills, Rachel always found herself in the company of her family, her parents working tirelessly to make ends meet. Night shifts were a norm, leaving Rachel often longing for a quiet evening alone. However, in her case, solitude seemed like an elusive dream. One evening, at the age of 15, Rachel seized an opportunity. Her parents were off to the store, leaving her with a chance to revel in the solitude she craved. With assurances to her mom that she could handle staying home alone for a short while, Rachel settled in the living room, ready to enjoy a movie she had recorded earlier. Their home had 2 doors, but the left one was seldom used, an unspoken agreement among family and friends. Rachel's mind was set on relaxation until a series of loud knocks shattered the calm. Panic gripped her as she realized the knocks were coming from the unused left door. Frozen in fear, Rachel's mind raced with possibilities. Who could it be? Everyone knew to use the right door. With trembling legs, she sat in the hallway, tears streaming down her face as the relentless knocking persisted. The knocks grew louder, echoing through the house, and Rachel's heart pounded in her chest. Thoughts of intruders and danger filled her mind, amplifying her fear. Should she call the police? Should she hide? Questions swirled in her head, but she couldn't bring herself to move. Minutes felt like hours as Rachel waited, her entire body tense with fear. And then, finally, the knocking ceased. Relief flooded her when her father finally returned, but confusion soon replaced it. Why had he knocked on the right door? Rachel's suspicion turned to her parents, convinced it was a prank. Yet, their genuine concern shattered her certainty. As they drove back to the house, Rachel's doubts lingered. Had she imagined the knocking? Or was there something sinister lurking beyond the left door? The incident played on her mind, and she couldn't shake off the feeling that there was more to the story than she knew. Even years later, the mystery remained unresolved, leaving Rachel haunted by the events of that fateful night. Rachel's curiosity grew with time, and she became determined to uncover the truth. She started researching the history of her small town, searching for any clues that might shed light on what happened that night. She delved into old newspapers, interviewed longtime residents, and even visited the local library to dig through dusty archives. Her investigation led her to discover tales of a previous family who had lived in her house many years ago. According to the town's folklore, they were rumored to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The left door, the one that was rarely used, played a significant role in these stories. Rachel's fascination turned into an obsession as she pieced together the fragments of information she gathered. She connected the dots between the previous family's disappearance and the strange knocking at her left door. There had to be a connection. Driven by her determination, Rachel reached out to experts in paranormal phenomena and sought their guidance. She attended seminars, joined online forums, and even participated in ghost hunting investigations. She was relentless in her pursuit of answers, hoping to unravel the secrets that haunted her home. During one of her investigations, Rachel met a renowned psychic who claimed to have a special connection to the spiritual realm. Intrigued by the psychic's claims, she arranged a session to communicate with the spirits believed to be lingering in her house. In the dimly lit living room, surrounded by candles and an eerie silence, the psychic began the session. Rachel watched with bated breath as the psychic closed her eyes and entered a trance-like state. Minutes passed, and then the psychic's eyes snapped open, revealing a mixture of surprise and concern. "There is a presence here," the psychic whispered, her voice trembling. "A restless spirit trapped between worlds." Rachel's heart raced as she listened intently. The psychic continued, relaying fragmented messages from the spirit. The spirit spoke of a tragic past, a family torn apart by betrayal and violence. It had been seeking justice and closure for years, unable to find peace. As the session ended, Rachel was left with more questions than answers. Who was this spirit? What had happened in her house all those years ago? The mystery deepened, and Rachel's determination grew stronger. She reached out to local historians and dug deeper into the town's archives. She uncovered a long-forgotten police report that detailed a gruesome crime committed in her house decades ago. It was a chilling tale of a family torn apart by jealousy and greed, resulting in a violent end. Rachel's research led her to track down the surviving relatives of the previous family. She shared her findings and her own experiences, hoping to bring closure to their family's tragic past. Together, they embarked on a journey of healing and reconciliation, determined to honor the memory of those who had lost their lives. As the truth unfolded, Rachel realized that the knocking on the left door was a desperate plea from the spirit of one of the victims, yearning for justice and resolution. By unraveling the mystery, Rachel had not only brought peace to the restless spirit, but also closure to her own haunted memories. The experience transformed Rachel's life. She decided to pursue a career in paranormal research, dedicating herself to helping others find answers and peace in the face of the unexplained. Her journey from a frightened teenager to a fearless investigator became an inspiration to many, and her story became a local legend, whispered among the townsfolk for generations to come. This is the account of a harrowing night that nearly ended in tragedy for young Michael, left alone at home on a fateful Friday evening. Michael, a 10-year-old boy, found himself thrust into a nightmare when a call from the hospital shattered the tranquility of his evening. His older brother had been struck by a car, plunging the family into panic and chaos. With both parents rushing to be by their injured son's side, Michael was left in charge of his 5-year-old sister, a responsibility he reluctantly accepted. Alone in the house, Michael's attempts to distract himself with a video game were futile against the creeping sense of unease that enveloped him. The weight of responsibility hung heavy on his young shoulders as he worried about his brother's condition and the safety of his family. The ticking of the clock seemed to echo in the silence, amplifying his anxiety. As the night wore on, silence descended, broken only by the ominous creak of the front door opening. Michael's heart skipped a beat as his gaze darted towards the source of the sound. Fear gripped him as he realized he was not alone. Peering cautiously from his bedroom, he spotted 3 shadowy figures in the darkness of the living room, intruders who did not belong. Panic surged through him as he retreated to the safety of his closet, his mind racing with thoughts of escape and survival. In the dim light that seeped through the cracks, he clutched his sister tightly, her small hand trembling in his. They huddled together amidst the clutter of the closet, their breaths shallow and rapid. Time crawled by as Michael waited, his heart pounding in his chest. The sound of footsteps drawing closer sent a shiver down his spine, and he braced himself for the worst. Every creak of the floorboards felt like a dagger in his heart, and he fought to keep his emotions in check, not wanting to alarm his sister even further. In the tense silence that followed, Michael's fear reached a crescendo as the closet door swung open, exposing him to the unknown danger lurking just beyond. His heart raced, his mind prepared for the worst possible outcome. But to his surprise, the figures hesitated, their eyes meeting his for a fleeting moment before retreating. Mercifully, the intruders departed, leaving behind a shattered sense of security and a home ransacked of its valuables. The relief that washed over Michael was accompanied by a sense of profound gratitude. As Michael's parents returned to the scene, the gravity of the situation became apparent. A simple oversight, leaving the door unlocked in their rush to reach their injured son, had nearly cost Michael his life. Reflecting on the ordeal, Michael couldn't help but wonder about the intentions of the intruder who had unknowingly spared him. Was it a stroke of luck that had saved him from harm, or a guardian angel watching over him in his darkest hour? The questions lingered, haunting Michael long after the night of terror had passed. In the months that followed, Michael's family took measures to enhance their home security, installing an alarm system and reinforcing the doors and windows. But the emotional scars ran deep, and the incident left an indelible mark on Michael's psyche. He became vigilant and cautious, always on guard, even in the safety of his own home. Over time, however, Michael's fear transformed into resilience and determination. He vowed to use his experience as a catalyst for change, advocating for better safety measures in his community. He joined neighborhood watch programs, organized self-defense workshops, and became an outspoken voice for victims of home invasion. Through his advocacy work, Michael discovered a sense of purpose and empowerment. He channeled his trauma into helping others, ensuring that no child would have to endure the same terror that had plagued him that fateful night. His story became an inspiration to his community, a reminder of the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. As years passed, Michael's encounter with the intruders faded into memory, but the lessons learned remained etched in his heart. He went on to pursue a career in law enforcement, dedicating himself to protecting others and bringing justice to those who sought to harm innocent lives. His journey from a frightened child to a fearless advocate became a beacon of hope for those who had experienced similar traumas, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable fear. More than a decade has passed since the chilling events unfolded, but the memory still lingers vividly for Emily, a young girl of 13 at the time. The trauma she experienced that night shaped her perspective on safety and forever altered her sense of security. In their childhood home with a balcony that overlooked the quiet street, Emily found herself alone one fateful night while her mother and brother were away. Her father had recently passed away, leaving them to navigate the challenges of life as a small family. As she lay in bed, engrossed in a book under the soft glow of her reading light, a rustling in the trees outside initially sparked no concern. Little did she know, her world was about to be shattered. Yet, when a shadow slowly crept past the glass doors leading to the balcony, Emily's instincts kicked in. Fear gripped her, freezing her in place. With trembling hands, she extinguished her light, paralyzed by the unknown figure that loomed outside. Tall and ominous, it moved stealthily, its intentions unclear in the darkness. The tension escalated when the intruder attempted to open the balcony door, prompting Emily to lock her own bedroom door in a desperate bid for safety. Her heart pounded with dread as she listened to the relentless jiggling of the handle, grateful when the door remained steadfastly shut. She felt a mix of relief and terror, knowing that her barricade was the only thing separating her from the unknown danger lurking just outside. But the ordeal was far from over. The intruder's menacing presence persisted as he paced the length of the balcony, his sinister mutterings sending shivers down Emily's spine. Each passing moment felt like an eternity as she lay frozen in her bed, her mind racing with thoughts of escape and survival. Trapped in her own terror, she dared not move or call for help, tears silently streaming down her cheeks. Just as the situation reached its zenith, salvation arrived in the form of approaching headlights. The sound of a car pulling into the driveway startled the intruder, causing him to flee into the night. With a thump, he vanished, leaving Emily trembling and hysterical in her relief. Upon her mother's return, the harrowing tale spilled forth, prompting a call to the authorities. The incident was taken seriously, but despite their efforts, the intruder eluded capture. However, suspicions arose linking him to recent reports of attempted abductions in the area, sending shockwaves through the community. As time passed, the memory of that night haunted Emily, a chilling reminder of the dangers lurking just beyond her doorstep. She became hyper-aware of her surroundings, always on guard, and developed a deep sense of vigilance. Her once carefree innocence was replaced by a lingering sense of unease, causing her to question the trust she placed in the world around her. Emily's experience fueled her determination to create change. She became an advocate for personal safety, educating others about the importance of awareness and self-defense. She organized workshops, spoke at community events, and collaborated with local authorities to implement safety measures in her neighborhood. Her resilience and bravery inspired others, turning her traumatic experience into a catalyst for positive action. Despite the scars left by that harrowing night, Emily refused to let fear define her. She sought therapy to heal the emotional wounds and gradually regained a sense of security. She channeled her pain into creative outlets, using art and writing as a means of self-expression and healing. Today, Emily continues to be an unwavering voice for victims of trauma and a beacon of hope for those who have experienced similar ordeals. Her resilience serves as a reminder that even in the face of darkness, there is strength and courage within each individual. The memory of that night will forever be a part of her, but it no longer holds her captive. Instead, she has transformed her experiences into a force for good, ensuring that others can find solace and support in their own journeys of healing and recovery.